Yeah, it turns out last night, Lily was getting whipsawed by Nvidia
Yes, but you can see NVIDIA,
post market. Yeah.
last night's close, at the lows of the session, your next support areas are basically at the 96, $98 area, which is the upper boundary of the old trading range that you had in the first quarter of this year.
Oh.
You don't have any slowing downside momentum.
Hmm. So the Microsoft better than expected post market rally, it is still you
Well,
look at
obviously
the
that doesn't
close.
show up on yesterday's close, right?
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
the overnights and the
The
overnight
pre-markets.
action
Yeah.
and the bounce in the Nasdaq future obviously doesn't show up in this. So
Yeah.
if we gap up and you close back above 108, that is encouraging. But as far as a base or a breakout goes, my view on how
Yeah.
Nvidia trades since you had that bearish reversal on the 20th of
Hmm.
June, sort of hasn't changed. That you typically go through a corrective phase. These two declines here were 20%. This is actually a bit more. This is 27%.
Hmm. Hmm.
And that's tended to lead to consolidation, which is, a similar view that I have on, your Lilly and Novo, that you had
Yes.
the slowing upside momentum, that it's a trading range. But, clearly what you've seen on NVIDIA and even on the SOX index is that you haven't really seen a respect of support yet. So you tried last week, Thursday, to bounce,
Yeah.
and, yesterday's close, like I say, at the lows. So if you get follow through tonight, then potentially you get this sort of sideways action that's forming around this 5,000 area.
Hmm.
If you take the worst case scenario, the 200-day on the SOX index is still basically 6% lower, right? And we have seen tests of the 200-day before.
Hmm.
So I can't say that the longer term trend is broken. A lot of people say, well, you're down 20%, it's a bear
Yeah.
market. You've had 20% declines before and you've held above the 200-day. So it's all about that longer term trend and just trying to understand where you sit within that.
Is there a 100-day in between the two lines?
Generally should be, but you can see, you did close below the 100-day today.
Oh, and in the previous time there's been breaches as well, right?
Well, yeah, you have,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can
yeah.
go back.
Yeah, I know, I know. The 200 will be a more relevant guide. Yeah.
Well, just a longer term scenario and probably a more followed moving average than the 100-day.
Yes, okay. And can we take a look at momentum, MTEM? Yeah, yeah. I know it's not
Yeah.
that liquid, but I just want to see.
No, no. I mean, it's still still prices the basket of the stocks that have done well over the past 12 months, right?
Oh, okay. So the liquidity matters less in this case, right? Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's you're looking at it as a proxy. Obviously, if you're trading it in size, I mean, it trades fairly well. It's not as if it's a small cap type of liquidity anyway.
Mm,
I mean, I suppose on the broader momentum is that unlike SOX, which closed below last week's lows, the momentum ETF has not, and it's still holding the support from the May lows.
okay. Okay. Got it. Got it. This is and anything with the momentum, the RSI? Huh?
Well, again, we don't have any divergence, and it's not below 30.
Mm.
So
So you're
yes,
looking at it starts to consolidate around the first gray line, right? Around
well that
185 before it
that
can yeah.
that provided support last week. It didn't get broken to in last night's sell-off.
Yeah.
So if you like the SOX index, we're probably 6% lower. If you did break below that, 5.6% is where the 200-day lines up next.
What I'm trying to get at is the if let's say it holds and tries around this 185, right?
Mhm.
Does a prolonged period of consolidation does it bring the divergence? It does, right? It could possibly.
It could possibly. I mean, it really sort of depends on how this divert. If you
Yes,
bounce
how it
back to the
gets bought
50-day,
up.
come back to retest this. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So there's always that potential, but hard to say that high conviction that it can develop
Yeah.
here, right? I mean,
Mm.
a divergence could also be that we stay in a range for another week, and then you do break down to test the 200-day. Then a divergence could result when you do test the 200-day with another leg down, right? Because
Mm.
that decline can be slower than this initial sell-off leg.
Yeah. Okay. Then can we take a look at XLV, XBI, and topics?
I mean, so topics probably not as clear as it Nikkei. Nikkei's got probably a more interesting because it got close to the 200-day in the April lows, but nonetheless, you got a support area here on the topics at this 2,675 and call it 2,700 top area, just for round number's sake, that has held. And again, this pullback today, and obviously with BOJ, if you did test that support area again, there's potential to set up a divergence.
Oh, that's good. But the problem is I don't know whether that's good for my stocks. I simply benefiting from this fallout.
Yeah, I mean, definitely the pharma, or if you look at Chugai, it's moved towards the highs, even Seiko is holding up. So Estella's broken out, and that probably is more in line with some of the large cap pharma names like Pfizer. Being the underperformers that are getting bid. So probably. I mean, I think the topics of the Nikkei is probably more a risk on if you do bounce here. Then,
but do you know if Japan normally follow the topics on Nikkei? Because if you say Nikkei is at 200 days, much more.
Well, so there's a difference
in the weighting. I know there's as fast retailing.
Well, not just obviously the Nikkei is like the Dow Jones. It's a price weighted index, which is a bit of an archaic way to calculate it, and it's only 225 stocks. This is almost 2,000 stocks in it. And it probably has a better representation of domestic Japan. And it has a bigger weighting of the banks in this. So the Nikkei is just more volatile and probably more of a trading instrument via the futures. And that's why some of the large cap moves. So you can see the 200-day there, the April lows. This is at basically 37,000. You've seen a little bit of stability at 37,600. But not too dissimilar to the topics that you've pulled back here. You're starting to stabilize, and you get a shakeout from BOJ, and you do test the 200-day. You might form a divergence. I mean, this is probably the biggest risk for global markets, right?
It's currency now, right?
Is if the BOJ does come out with a more hawkish message. And why I say that, I mean, you saw last week's price action on how you had the positioning in the yen go. We were net short at 52% of total open interest. That has been reduced to net short at 34%. So this decline that you've seen in dollar yen, a lot of that was short covering, part of the carry trade being unwound. But if you did break below 152, there's still 30% of total open interest net short that can be covered, right? The problem that you saw last week was, for example, gold also sold out, and at the end of last week, even small caps sold out. So there's risk that if the carry trade is unwound, and remember the carry trade is you're borrowing yen and you're buying risk assets essentially, right? Is if you have to close those positions. You're a forced seller of the other assets too. So it's sort of indiscriminate selling that comes through. So that is the biggest risk for global markets.
I see. No, that probably happened to Lily and Novo. That's what happened.
Well, it's part of it.
Yeah. Okay. This is awesome. Okay, then maybe let's look at XLV and XBI. No? Yeah.
Do you want to look at Lily? So you can see, like NVIDIA close at the lows, essentially, there's no divergence on the RSI. And you did actually close below the 100-day. Not that I track that, but you did close below the 100-day. That does line up with the upper boundary of the trading range you had in the first quarter.
It close below the 100-day, right? Yeah, that's a problem.
Well, the 100-day, but for me, more importantly, from a price structure, you did close below the upper boundary of the first quarter trading range.
Yes. And this was previously Novo had that, right? And Lily didn't. Now it is breached, right?
Yeah. And Novo is almost at the bottom of the range, where Lily, the bottom of the range, the 200-day,
so far away.
lines up at 723.
And what does the RSI say?
Well, there's no divergence. So yes, it's below 30,
Yeah.
but you don't have the slowing downside momentum.
But it is possible it battles around this current, even though it closed below, right? It battles around here and form that divergence needed, right? The reason I'm
I
asking
mean,
is,
it's possible that it could rally and get back above the 100-day and trade back to the 50-day. It's absolutely possible.
yeah,
And you then still try to form a higher trading range above 821. This is a 1-day close. Could it
mm,
reverse overnight? Absolutely. I mean, you go back here
yeah,
to October, it didn't form a divergence. It did close below the 50-day for 1 day, and then for the rest of the week it traded higher,
mm,
right? So
mm,
you can't rule out a bounce and holding in that higher range. But
mm.
if you look at where the close was, is that you didn't really see a respect of the support area that ideally you'd wanted to see.
Yes,
But that doesn't
yes,
negate that it can't bounce, right? I mean, I think this is I've said this to sort of a few people that these are levels that a lot of these stocks have corrected back, particularly the momentum stocks.
yes,
That
and they're macro driven. Yeah,
that you want to see some stability develop here, and it is important to keep that longer term structure.
yeah,
And the other thing that I sort of battle, everybody that I speak to sort of fundamentally said like nothing significantly changed here.
yes,
So that the trend is still up. So to me, it's more that the BOJ disappoints to get another leg shaking us lower, right? In these names. Otherwise, yeah, I'm tending to look for more stability here. But would obviously like the price action to
yeah.
stabilize it.
Okay. No, we got results coming up, so we get that. Maybe look at Novo. Yeah.
Well, it doesn't look like results have helped anybody, no matter what it's what the headline's been.
Yeah, no, I
So
was going to come to one crazy event, Merck, MRK last night. Yeah,
yeah. So let's Novo.
yeah.
So that's Novo, and in fact, Novo did bounce, from the prior day's lows.
Yes, and it not really.
Yeah, yeah. But I guess as you can see, you did work lower in Novo
Yes.
ahead of Lilly. The point is you're back into the trading range that you had in
Yeah,
the first quarter.
and
The
it has
bottom end of
last.
that,
Yeah, the
yeah,
last time it worked, it goes to the bottom of the range, right, before it comes back up. Yeah,
that's what it's done on previous times. Yeah, I mean the interesting thing is
the
I can make
divergence.
the argument that you've got a 1 week divergence that's developed here.
I saw that. I saw that, and my boss smartly bought Novo instead of Lilly.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, I guess Novo's fallen more than Lilly. Lilly
Yeah.
playing a
That's
bit of
right.
catch up to the downside. Yeah.
Okay, got it. But is that 1 week divergence a big deal, or a week is usually fleeting?
I mean, it's small, right?
Yeah,
The big divergence, but
the
we are
multi-months.
talking about a decline over a month, right?
Yes,
So it's
yes.
not as if we've had a decline over multi-months, which the divergence will normally develop over 3 months. So
Yeah,
it's
that's right.
relevant in perspective of a 1 month decline.
Yeah. Okay, this is very important. Actually, let's do Merck, MRK in the US. Yeah, yeah.
So where did we land up? Yeah, I mean,
Close at
it
lows. Yeah.
close at lows, close below the 200-day. Obviously, RSR falling on that, and you can see the trading range that you've had.
Yes, broke, right?
So that's quite. I mean, it looks negative on this close, and without a reversal, the measured move is back to 107,
Mm,
which is essentially the upper boundary of the second half of last year's trading range.
all right. So buy at 107. Although this is very helpful because last night I was very tempted to go in at the lower end of
Yeah,
the previous trading range, but I
yeah,
sliced through like knife
yeah,
through butter, man.
yeah.
I was like,
I mean, I think that's sort of quite a key message that it couldn't hold that. So yeah, to
yeah,
me, probably relook at 107, 108.
okay, perfect. No, that's very helpful. Okay, actually, before we push further, right, I want to check XLV and XBI.
All
Yeah,
right, so
thank you.
XLV should be here. So, I mean, nothing's really changed on the chart structure. You still have the longer term breakouts that you saw in January, and
Mm,
while you haven't seen a pickup in momentum here, you're still holding in a higher and above the upper boundary of the first half of this year's trading range, which you broke out of. So there's still unmet upside targets going back to the larger breakout, which is, 164, 165. And then there's the first half of this year's breakout, which is still a 157 upside target. So it still looks constructive.
But does
And
its outperformance against the SPX or the Nasdaq, does it mean a lot? Yeah.
well, I mean, it's typical in a environment that the S&P and Nasdaq are correcting, right? So it's acting as that safe haven.
Yeah, yeah. But does this relative chart does it push up higher? Let's say to the point two.
Well, it looks
to
like
the
it
red
can
line?
trade up to the 200-day at least.
Okay, okay. That's really, really solid then. Okay.
Yeah.
That's XLV. XBI? Yeah. And this XBI is tricky. It's half growth, like the stocks, right? And then half um defensive or interest rates.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that it hasn't really,
Yeah, so it's been whipsawing.
unlike the small cap index, it hasn't really sort of pushed on. And in fact, this is that green line there is at US T-notes of bond futures.
Yeah.
And you can see that yields have been falling, bond prices rising, but
Yeah.
maybe the more sort of uncertainty or risk off has had
Yes, yes. Take profits.
XBI
Yeah.
declines. But let's just go back to what we're dealing with from a price pattern
Sorry, that
perspective.
green line earlier is not the yield, right? It's
It's the
the
bond
price.
prices. It's a bond
So it's the
futures. Yeah,
inverse of it. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So again, nothing's changed on XBI as far as 2022, 2023 trading range goes.
Mm,
And then the higher trading range that you formed this year. But clearly, unlike
it's built twice.
XLV, which has broken out,
Yeah.
XBI is still capped at that 103 area.
Is this a short? A hedge?
Well, I mean,
Maybe?
I think if you look at
Sorry,
it from a
divergence.
momentum, you've got a
Yeah.
divergence. And if you look at, XLV outperforming XBX, it makes sense from a risk-off environment that XBI
Mm.
short, XLV long continues to work.
Oh, okay, okay. No, 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 because I'm using one of these two index as a hedge, right? Just trying to figure
Sure,
out. Okay.
sure.
Oh, sorry. While we're at it, can we look at IHI? This is the proxy for MedTech, and it has had a terrible earnings season.
I mean, it does look like you had an intraday reversal last week at the 200-day, right?
Yeah.
So that's the intraday reversal at the 200-day, which is roughly at the same point of your lows that you made in April.
Oh.
So, it does look like it's holding the bottom end of the range. And obviously, the close here and the close here are at similar levels, and the RSI is marginally higher than the April. So it's
Yes.
not as if this decline had stronger momentum than the decline that you had in April.
Yeah.
And the
So this
fact
is
that
a
you had,
big divergence, right? 4 month,
well,
5 month divergence.
it is a divergence. It's at support. So we should hold the trading range, should be the conclusion that we draw here.
Oh, that's very good. That's a surprising conclusion. And that breach of the 200-day, it came back intraday, right? It is a
I mean,
interesting
it
sign.
actually closed intraday. It went below the 200-day, but it closed above the 200-day. So you actually haven't had a close below the 200-day.
That's good. That's good. Okay, this is more constructive. That's very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Then let's look at Astra and Daiichi. Actually, sorry, before Astra, let's do it Lonza first. Lonza, Lonn in Europe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I can get all the key names in yeah, that's the one. Lon and Sartorius. Yeah.
So we finally got we're looking for at least a move back to the previous highs at 558.
Yeah.
Which it's gapped through that level.
Yeah.
Momentum's still rising. It's already testing the June highs,
Oh, should I
which you can
sell?
see.
I'm just.
Well, I don't have a divergence, right?
I know that was the tricky part, And with the market crapping out, it still doesn't care. It's a bit like Thermo. It's the new haven.
Yeah, it looks. I mean, above this
It's 666.
590 area is
Yeah.
basically 666, which goes back to the March levels. I
Oh,
mean,
okay.
maybe you do take some profits and you leave some on to see if it can
It
push
breaks
through and
out.
accelerate through
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, the momentum confirms it. Okay.
yeah.
SRT3. This one's my bad. It should own a chunk of shit. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's improved. Yeah. So you've
Mm.
broken the downtrend. You've broken above the 50-day. And
Oh,
if you look at it,
yesterday was the down channel, right?
yeah,
So it broke decisively above it. Yeah.
yeah, broke above it, and that confirmed the break above the 50-day, and it
Yeah,
closed
and
at the
previous low peak.
18th of July highs, which
Yeah.
basically gives you these two lows as your double bottom. So,
Mm.
tactically, it looks like you have a base in place.
Yeah.
Yes, the 200-day will be resistance, but this
Yeah.
base gives you an upside target
At
of
310.
305. Yeah,
Ah,
and the
RSI
RSI
confirms it. Yeah.
is still rising.
Okay, very helpful. This is superb. Okay, then let's go back to the normal Daiichi, Chugai, Otsuka. Yeah.
The Daiichi, I mean, since that
This
divergence, you sort of back at the 50-day.
hmm.
Um,
Uh,
basically there's a risk that it falls to the bottom of the range at the 5,240, 5,250 area.
it reports today, so I need to know where to buy it. Uh, but
Well, I mean,
surprisingly, results supposed to be
because
good. Yeah.
yeah, because of this divergence,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know,
But does it look like let's say results are good today, right? It's probably this level is actually at the 50-day. It should bounce from here, right? Fundamentally, if it's supportive, it should go higher, or not
yeah.
really, it could go
Well,
lower.
I mean,
Yeah.
it'll be if it had great results and you can't hold the 50-day, good results, bad price action is
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
likely then to see a move down to that
yeah, five
5,240.
two hundred. Yeah.
Otherwise, holding above the 26th of July lows, which was the first test of the 50-day, which is 5572.
Mm,
It's a level that just sits just below the 50-day. But yeah, ideally, the markets, assuming the results are good, reacts and holds the 50-day, right?
yeah. Okay, that's very helpful. Okay. Chugai 4519. This one
Yeah, so
I have to thank you for it.
yeah, I mean, so
I've
this
been buying on
one's
technicals only. Yeah.
I mean, so I don't have any. Basically, this is now becoming the take profit level, right? So remember,
Yeah,
we sort of test the March highs, and it is doing that now. And you can see the RSI isn't
lower.
confirming it. So again, this could be like Lonza, where you take some profits here
Sorry, the
on
RSI is confirming a di RSI divergence. Is that
well,
it?
again, um,
The divergence will be on a 5-month basis, right?
well, let's just play this out, right? If price keeps on rising, this
Yeah,
RSI
yeah.
will keep on rising, right? So price needs to hook down to make a lower high, right? But my
Uh,
point is, you the play was for a move back to the 6,600 area, and the fact that we're there, I think taking some profits is
makes
warranted.
sense. Yeah, yeah,
And if you wanted to keep some position on to see if you get, a fresh momentum signal,
yeah.
you can do that. But as far as the positive technical setup, this was the expectation. It's played out. I can't get you fresh and high
Mm,
momentum
mm.
signals right now. So
Yeah.
yeah,
No, the tricky thing is because if the topics keep collapsing, this one will keep winning because it's post results and it's clear to own. It's obesity. Lily's coming back. That was
yeah,
what I was holding out for. Okay, I
yeah.
get it. Okay. Then Otsuka 4578. And then just as you speak, two guys pulling back a bit. Yeah. Oh, this one is bonkers.
Yeah, I mean, so again, no, or it hit the upside target that we talked about, but you can
Yeah.
see here, momentum still confirming the highs.
So it
If
still pushes
anything,
up. Yeah. You think?
I mean,
Yeah.
it can, right? I've got no divergence to
Mm,
suggest that it doesn't. And
yeah.
again, the last time you had a momentum move,
Oh, yeah.
the 20-day was, your risk management level. So the 20-day currently is at 72.86.
Oh, okay.
That's probably all I could highlight to you right now is
No,
that.
no, that's helpful. That's helpful because we want you to know what is a signal to sell.
Yeah, so I
Okay,
think
okay.
that the 20-day, capturing the momentum phases for this stock is
Yeah, it's
basically
important.
now your risk management level.
Yes, that's fantastic. Okay, 4543. That's Terumo. Terumo. Yeah, it's right, right. This two. Right at your cursor.
All right.
Terumo and Asahi. Yes.
So yeah, I mean nothing really changed on this in we
Mm,
can't break out. I mean the
50
what
days
we talked
holding.
about before, that it needs to hold this 50-day to keep the pressure for the potential break to the upside.
Yeah, and it's testing it today, right? But I think it's
Yeah.
gonna come back. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But there's nothing to suggest anything wrong with it, right? Yeah,
Well, nothing to suggest that you're breaking down.
yeah, yeah.
As far as the breakout potential, it's important that it holds a 50-day today, right?
Yes. Okay. Then 7747. This the problem with Terrain
Yeah,
is the results are too far away.
right. I
Yeah, so
mean,
it's getting
th
whipped.
this broke out, momentum confirmed the highs, it's pulled back. This is where it should stabilize to at least have another run towards a 200-day, right?
Oh, sorry. Why is this range a support? I'm just trying
Well,
to
we broke out of the base here. So you can
yeah.
see those horizontal lines. The 200-day sits just below that.
All right.
The breakout from that momentum confirmed it, and it's pulled back to the breakout point. So this
I
is
see.
where really where you need to run up. Like I say, the risk management or level to pay attention to is 2274.
Yes,
And I
yes.
mean, it's not a massive pattern, right? So, I'm not saying play for 3,100, but we're likely to test the 200-day.
Got it. Okay. Sorry, I have two names in Europe. I realize Merck Germany. Right below. Last row. Yeah, that's the one.
So gap up. I mean, it all points to testing the 176 area.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously
But
needs to break above that to get more excited.
otherwise probably a divergence, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I think at the very least you're going to test 176 and then see
Then
if
we decide. Yeah.
divergence develops. Remember, this divergence took 2 months on the first test with
Oh,
high momentum, pulled back, and then it had another attempt. So yeah, I mean, as you know, at a minimum you're going to take a week to form a divergence. This one took 2 months.
yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay. Very helpful. Zealand, Zeal in Europe.
Yep. So yeah,
This tricky one.
I mean, it looks like another sort of holding pattern here.
Yeah, it couldn't reach the 1,000, right? Yeah,
Yeah, but I mean, it's not as if holding in this higher range, and as long as you hold above the 50-day, you could have another episode like you had here that,
yeah.
breaking through the 980 area actually gets us a target more than the 1,000 area.
All right.
I mean, as far as the breakout momentum, obviously that's now played out, right? So while
Yes.
we didn't quite, you got within 50 euros of that 1,000 mark. You're looking for, a new momentum signal to extend the uptrend essentially. And I'd say as far as, if you bought the breakout here, the
Mm.
50-day is a risk sort of management level,
Yeah, yeah. That's right.
or more conservatively, the upper boundary of the range, because you did break the 50-day here while you consolidated, right? So it
Okay.
just depends how much leeway you want to give it or how long you expect it to consolidate before. I mean, I get this is obviously earnings related, right? Or results
Yes,
related, right?
results. Yeah.
So, potentially this range continues what for another 2 months before the results out, or 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Okay, I see.
that's the risk of the
Yeah.
50-day being, it's actually the market's
The
waiting for new news to re-rate or derate, right? It would be the other risk.
Got it, got it. Oh, that's very helpful. Okay. Now before we go further to the European names, I have two China names. I asked your help yesterday. The C in CN. Yeah, HKCN. It's UC EdTech, right? And 2359 and Mine Ray. Thinking what to do about these two, whether there's an opportunity there.
I mean, this has had divergence build up for so long.
Yeah. And then
Um,
yesterday's one, I'm like, what do I make of that? And with the macro so bad. Yeah.
I mean, healthcare in China is that classic laggard trade. We started to see an attempted bounce,
Yeah.
but it didn't really follow through with the rest of markets, and it sort of hesitated. I'd say you had
Mm,
one attempt to break above the 50-day that failed.
failed.
You
Yeah.
tested the 50-day and failed. So to have
But
any,
it broke the 50-day and failed. What happened? Is that supposed to happen or that's not really not normal? That's like
well, again, I mean, for the Hong Kong
biosecure.
China side, what we said in April at the index level is that the 50-day needs to turn into support to confirm that the
Oh,
behavior has changed. So, I mean, obviously it is more conservative because the 50-day has kept these stocks in Hong Kong, China for so long.
okay. It's the resistance. Got it, got it. And what do
Yeah,
you
so
make?
for the
Yeah.
behavior to change, you need the 50-day to actually turn into support. And what
Oh,
that would imply is that buyers have actually started to change their behavior and
oh, right.
buying at a higher level than waiting for it to make new lows.
I see. And what do you make of yesterday's spike on the divergence, but close at lows?
Yeah, I mean, again, so it would suggest that you still got residual sellers there, right? It's
Oh,
not strong price action. If you closed at the highs of the session, and even the close at the highs of the session here didn't result in any follow through.
mm,
So yeah, I mean, I would say on the Hong Kong China side, you'd probably be compared to how we're looking at things in Japan and the US, want a bit more evidence of a change in the behavior
yes,
when
yes.
you break these levels. That's you get follow through. In the point in case of what happened on the 12th of July, you had a big update, closed at the highs, but no
Yeah,
follow through the next day.
yeah, okay. I see, I see, I see.
So
So
that's
today is quite important, right? On the follow through. Yeah. Okay, got it.
yeah, that you can at least try and push towards that 50-day.
Yeah. Then mine ray? Yeah, right here, right above you, right above. Just one spot above. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, so this was a big move yesterday.
Oh, it didn't hold the damn line? I thought it did.
Unfortunately,
Yeah,
yeah,
I thought it
I
was
mean we
247.
still yeah.
Mm. So momentum confirms are down, right?
And
So it's a
yeah, again, you don't
breakdown.
have it's I
Mm.
mean, this move here you can see didn't get a divergence, right? And it rallied strongly the next day. So,
Oh,
can it recapture the range like it did in September 22? I mean, there was obviously policy announcements at this time that turned that around.
all right.
Um,
It's probably not this time. Yeah.
well, there doesn't seem to be any. Well, there are some group meetings going on, right? There's
Mm.
a
No, no. This one is an anti-graft issue. So
right, right.
Merck last night. The fiasco was
All right.
this,
That was
and
this. Yeah. Okay.
yeah. If we go all the way back, how many more this levels was defended? I'm just gonna guess it's a range, right? Yeah.
I mean, well, so
Oh,
this has
good.
been in place since October 22, right?
22. Yeah. And then the last low was 21, and that wasn't even as low as this, right? Yeah.
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 So that was the it wasn't even the COVID lows. That was yeah March 21, and that was
Mm.
marginally higher. I mean, there's if you can't hold or you don't have an imminent rebound,
Yeah.
the only other two levels to think about is the COVID lows, which I think is here.
Oh,
And that's at 208 and then 190, which is the highest through 2019.
oh. The funny thing is that the COVID, this is the biggest beneficiary globally of a medical ventilator. So it should not have a COVID low, but it did, right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I get that.
Well, I mean, it was liquidity rather than
Yeah,
investment thesis, right?
I see, I see. Okay. No, that's very helpful. Now we can go back to the normal Europe side, right? And NOVN, Novartis, Roche, Sanofi. Thank you. I'm just mute myself. There's a bit of background noise.
So just Rush that I found it early. I mean, there's a small divergence on this one now,
Yes, yes, I'm shorting it already. Thank you
and
so much. Yeah.
it's met the upside target from that base.
What to look out for to cover short? Like where's the breakout? Something's changed. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think unfortunately, you can only use the intraday high here at 287
Mm.
with momentum, matching the 83 level that you saw on the 19th of July.
All right, all right. So it's actually a high probability event that Roche has profit taking, right? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, at least a period of hesitation around this level, maybe even closing the gap at 262.
Actually, you know why this might happen? Because now it's Lily and Nova fighting back. It's our turn.
Right, right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, that's great, Roche. NOVN.
So it did meet the upside target from this trading range. Momentum did confirm the highs, pulled back to the 50-day, and it's having another run towards those highs. I suspect
Oh,
that you could set up a divergence on retesting the highs.
No, you made a brilliant call on this. I didn't dare to short it further because you think momentum confirm it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but if it goes to the back there, then that's a divergence. Okay, that's
I
helpful.
would just, yeah, I'd be looking for that divergence to develop. Obviously, you don't want to second guess it yet. You want to, see that you do get up to this level and the RSI is still lower, and
Yeah,
you hook down to confirm that. But I suspect that that's how it's setting up now.
got it. Can we look at GSK and Sanofi?
So GSK has had that slowing downside momentum at the old resistance zone, which is acting as support. You can see
Oh,
that we did back off the 50-day, but this does look like you've stabilized here. It's not a
oh,
very big range, but to give you an idea that this breakout can get you back to
mm.
1609.
Breakout from where? The blue line? If it
Th
breaks it,
this
yeah. Oh, this current
let me
breakout.
just
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
let me just
Of the 1500 part, right? Yeah.
talking about breaking out of this trading range.
Ah, but this is a very weak XLV related like rotation to pharma thing. That's why
Yeah, yeah. I
I'm
mean,
not
I
sure
think
what I'm not sure
it's
what
a
to do with
defense.
it.
It's a defensive trade.
Yeah. Is this a short? It could be a funding short
Not
too,
yet.
right?
No, I
Yeah.
mean, I don't got no evidence unless you're going to use the 200-day or the 50 days as a stop level,
Yeah, yeah,
hoping that
yeah.
it falls back in the range. But as far as a reversal or breakdown, I don't have that evidence.
Okay, awesome. That's Sanofi. Yeah, Sanofi. Sanofi, Siemens, and Alcon. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, interesting, we got to the top of the range here.
Ah,
We haven't really formed a divergence. So,
shit, it's higher. Okay.
yeah.
But
So it
the
looks it
last
looks a
one,
bit too early to short.
but
Again, look for a divergence like you had here, and that might take another 3 weeks.
but that range here, that top here, right, is a pretty big resistance level, right?
It is absolutely, but like I said, yeah, it spent a bit of time that it did form the divergence. I would,
Oh,
I mean, I guess you can short it and you use a close above 100 because
yes, yes.
here, while it didn't automatically correct that
Yeah,
divergence that
it
formed
did
over the
plunge.
month, it didn't move above the 100. So you could still
Mm,
short it here using 100 as a stop level, but it does look like for the reversal to take place,
yeah.
it takes a
You know why
10 to 30. Yep,
yeah, you know why I'm scalping all these like shitty little shorts, right? It's because
yep,
we can't really hedge in Europe. So for
yeah,
me,
yeah,
the only
okay,
that was why I need to go through all these names. Okay,
yep.
then SLH and ALC, these are the bigger ones. Yeah.
This is the Siemens side, and again, pretty much in the trading range, so not much changed on this. 52 the bottom end, 55, 56 the top end, and even more significant resistance at 57. So very much a range bound setup on this one.
So this could be the funding short, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it doesn't look like it's got any upside potential, and as a funding short makes sense.
Yeah. Then ALC.
So I mean, ideally you want price to make another lower close here to confirm the divergence. So
Oh,
out of the three names that you're potentially looking at shorts, this is probably the closest to
a divergence.
confirming, yep,
Yeah,
divergence and confirming, you're shorting at the top of the range.
that's very helpful. No, no, no. This is consumer driven. I'm amazed it's held up.
Right,
I've been this one. I'm hoping a big shot. I think need to do
right.
more work.
Yep.
STMN. STMN. Yeah, strong.
I mean, so obviously a very broad trading range, but over the past 3 months, we've had this lower range develop below 121.
So it could be a
And
funding
above,
shot. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's helpful. Yeah. Okay. Um, SOON.
I mean, it's also one that's been capped on the upside, around that 287 to 290 area. But you've
Mm.
clearly
Oh,
respected the 200
200
day
day. Yeah.
as support. So, it does look like this little trading range forming between basically 260 and 287.
Got it. Okay. Sorry. One name, FME. I think it broke down from a range yesterday. Just wanted to ask if we press the shot. Oh yeah. Oh no, it held it. What on earth?
Yeah, I mean, interesting that also intraday reversal off that level.
Ah, what? It's down five? Are we looking at FME? Yeah. Well, at least on my Bloomberg it says down five. Okay, I
So,
see.
so your close was 35.75, right?
Ah, so it was down 10 at one point
Yeah,
yesterday.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So well, what do you make of this? It's potentially
Well,
it's encouraging, right?
the
Yeah.
intraday reversal off the support area suggests that you stay range bound. And
Ah,
you can see the RSI, the close isn't below the lows that you made here, but the RSI again didn't accelerate lower. If that had accelerated lower, that would obviously be quite a bearish
I see.
setup.
So this is a potential funding short, but not a high conviction one, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. AFX. AFX. Yeah. Oh, it's not here? Oh, Carl Zeiss. Yeah. Carl Zeiss. It's the second row.
Yeah,
That's a column, yeah. Oh, divergence. Ah,
yeah, divergence and starting to react to that. So this looks
yes.
like a mean reversion trade, at least back to that 50-day.
Oh, okay. That's very helpful. Okay, one SXP, and then we're done Europe. I've spent so much time here. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Oh,
limited history on this one.
mm,
Yeah, I mean, at low conviction, it's trying to improve, but again, intraday reversal off the highs yesterday.
I see. I see. Okay, no problem. Then let's move on to US side, ABBV. At least I covered the main names.
In this list.
Happily.
So
Oh,
yeah,
so
this
messy.
breakout's continuing, right? So I mean, you had the original large trading range breakout, the pullback here, the
Mm.
continuation of those breakouts, momentum still rising. You're
Oh
above
my
your previous
goodness.
highs,
Yeah.
and yeah, that original breakout still got 206 on the upside.
Ah, okay, thank you. This one is massive. We can own it. J&J.
J&J's on this list. So you can also see, the broader trading range,
Mm.
the
It's a huge
short-term
one.
basing
Yeah.
pattern, and the breakout. I mean, this is that sort of defensive bid that's come in, and you got 165
166.
as the upside target.
Ah, okay. But does it form a divergence then? It might, right?
Potentially.
Yeah, that's good to know. Then Pfizer and BMY. Oh, BMY is the new
Yes.
priority. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think this is the one that plays catch up to Roche and BMY,
Yeah, and the
and
momentum
this is
confirms it, right?
this
Yeah.
has got an upside target of least of 34, right?
Ah, and this is not a divergence, right? Momentum is confirming it, right?
That's
That's
right. I
good.
mean, this is the reverse, right? It took that divergence over,
Yeah,
four
yeah, yeah.
months. Then it had an additional 3 months of basing, and then you've broken all the moving averages. That yeah,
Ah,
you re-rates to close to
$34.
$35. So Roche, definitely led those names in the base, and then
Yes.
BMY has been the second one to follow.
Yes, BMY
And
did it in like 1 week.
yeah,
Yeah.
trying to find my BMY chart. Here we go. So that was, much smaller base than the FASLA, but you've already met the upside target here. You don't have a divergence, so I suspect that you at
Mm.
least test that 54, 55 area.
But can I buy at 47, the 200-day? It's not a support, right? It hasn't acted as a support, so not really,
Well,
right? Yeah.
I mean, yesterday it did from an intraday basis act
Yeah,
as
yeah,
some
yeah, yeah.
support, but
I,
I
I'm
mean,
I'm hoping I did for it by yesterday. Yeah.
momentum's confirming the high. So, on an
You want to own
intraday
it?
basis, you've got
Yeah.
2.5% downside risk for 10% upside.
Got it. Ah, okay. That's BMY. BRTX and AMGN. Yeah.
VRTX.
Yeah.
So this still doesn't have momentum confirming the highs here.
Hmm. What? So it's a potential short, right?
But it's at least a take profit setup.
That's good. No, I need hedges. Okay,
Yep.
AMGN.
So here you do have this momentum confirming the highs back here. So you can see from the RSI that you
Uh,
did get confirmation. There's a small upside target from that trading range that I've highlighted there, which still
to,
gets you to 355. And, then maybe you set up another divergence, but it does look like it can trade up to 355.
uh, I thought it really formed a downside divergence. It didn't, right? Yeah.
Well, you can see what I've drawn on
Oh,
this.
yeah,
This
there was a
you had a
previous one.
divergence into here,
Yeah, and
and
pull
then
back
you broke
slightly.
above
Yeah,
that, and the RSI traded to the same level that you did on this move here.
so really amazing. Okay, fine. Then GILD. Wow,
Yeah, I
momentum
mean, so
confirms this. Yeah,
momentum's confirmed. I don't have any real sort of pattern to rely on here, but momentum's confirmed it. You can clearly see where your next sort of major resistance area is,
yeah,
the upper
88,
bound. Yeah,
86. Yeah.
yeah.
Wow, this GLD is amazing. Okay, BIIB. Bib. Yeah, Biogen.
I think it's on this one. This actually broke down.
Oh,
So I had this trading range broke down, and the bottom end of that trading range is giving you resistance at 218. So in
so this is a
fact,
short.
yeah,
Okay, that's good to
in
know.
fact, this breakdown gets you a downside target of
200.
200.
Yeah, okay, that's very good. Um, okay, then we go to ISRG. Sorry, before we get there, in your previous tab, that's Viking, VKTX. That's important. Yeah, that's the one. This is so confusing. This one. I missed
Yeah,
the
so
35% move, but yeah, okay.
it's an interesting one
Yeah.
in that it does look like we've stabilized right in this trading range. And yes,
Yeah,
it broke out and it's pulled back,
fell
but
back
it's
onto
pulled
it.
back to an interesting level where the 50-day
And yeah,
and the 20-day line up.
yeah, it's
Um,
whipped by Lily. It's
yeah.
that this obesity play that is this a what does the momentum say? Yeah.
Well, momentum confirmed this move. So
Ah,
if anything, I'd be inclined to be a buyer here
yes.
using the 20-day as a risk management or stop level.
Which was
And you
last
can,
night. Yeah.
yeah, which was just short. So the 20-day is at $55. It closed at 56,
Oh,
50. But basically, the upside target from that base you can
it's
see there is
81.
$81.
Okay, that's perfect. That's very
So,
helpful.
you're taking, 1% risk for
Yeah.
40% upside. I mean, it's,
Okay. No, that's what it is. It's an
yeah,
obesity pill. And it's
yeah.
supposed to come out. Okay. ISRG and BSX. This
So
one
here you
sticks.
can see the divergence, right? The slowing upside.
Oh, yeah. Then it's been puking. Yeah.
And this does look like 50 days could
It's a
be
support.
broken.
Oh, it
And
looks
yeah, if
like
you,
yeah.
well, I mean, you have the divergence. So at the very least, you're going to stay range bound.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and if you do break the 50-day, the
yeah.
406
Four
area is your next
six.
support.
But this one is so solid. There's no point shouting this one. Okay. BSX. Yeah, that's the one.
So another price momentum divergence break of the 50-day. You
Oh,
can land up.
finally it broke, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, there's two levels.
Oh my
It's basically
goodness.
the gap, right, which is
Yeah.
between 68 and 70.
Okay. No, but it's still worth shouting. This guy is like a lily of MedTech.
Right.
ABT. ABT is an interesting one. I should put it on the priority. Abbott Labs. Oh yeah. Yeah.
So you got the price momentum divergence. You can see the stocks trying to base out here. The
Yeah.
breakout areas are moved through basically 109,
Oh.
and breaking above 109 would suggest you trade back towards 118, 120.
So the opportunity 2 days ago was massive, right? That
Yeah,
intraday comeback.
yeah.
And that's very positive, right? You'll be this 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 is
Yeah,
more of the
definitely,
buy.
definitely buying interest here, and everything sort of points that you're going to at least test that 109 area.
Yeah, okay, that's helpful. MDT and then EW. Oh, there are a lot of blow-ups here. MDT, EW, yeah. Medtronic.
And that's MTD.
Yeah,
It might be
MDT.
here.
It's not on this page. Yeah.
It might be on that. Oh, but yeah, what's going on? Just repopulate this.
Oh, oh no, it's on the previous tab then.
Sure. I mean, we have looked at that one before.
Yeah. This one is a very ideal hedge.
MTD.
Yeah. MDT,
Yeah,
Medtronic.
I'm not sure why I'm not picking it up.
Maybe
there
you
it
can,
is.
you can
There it
shut
is.
down
There
the
it is.
MTD. No, yeah,
Yeah, I've got it here.
yeah.
So I mean, it did have that initial break below 77, 78, and it has
Yeah.
rebounded back into it. But it does look like a funding short. No real.
Oh, even though you recaptured the range,
It has
it's
recaptured the range. I mean,
yeah,
not a high conviction move. Could this trade high in the range? Yes, but
yes.
I can't say there's a lot of conviction.
Oh
The
no,
the
no. As long
RS,
as the funding shot is good enough. Yeah,
yeah. I mean the RSI.
it's rising though. Yeah.
But the RSI lows were matching, so it's not as if it had a big divergence there either. So
That's good to know. That's good to know. Very helpful. EW, yeah, Edwards. This one is the jaw dropper.
yeah.
50 billion stock wiped out half by half. But oh, people buying it?
I mean, it has started to. It's tried to stabilize at the October lows, right?
Oh, that's the
Um,
reason.
so
Oh, I
that
didn't
that's
know it's
the
tested this before. Okay.
that's the only sort of support level. Obviously, there's no divergence on it. So what I would suspect is that you at least sort of retest that 58
Yeah,
area.
but if it retests and breaks below the 60.67, does that
Yeah.
mean a lot lower? Yeah.
I mean, it's just the COVID lows as your next sort of potential support level, which is 51.
52.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is this a shot or it does nothing to do here until it makes a decision either way, right?
Well, look, I mean, to me, it should retest the lows, right?
Uh
Could it trade down to 51, 52? Yes.
yeah, momentum
So,
confirms the low, right? That's the
so if I
problem.
had to do anything, I would short it, but I'm not expecting another sort of collapse, like
Yeah,
you've
yeah.
seen here.
Understood. Okay. Then while we're at this, let's look at the other blow up, DXCM, Dexcom. Oh,
So,
I almost like it.
well, I mean, interesting. This try to set up a divergence until the news, right?
Yeah.
It
So
just
so the market is
so
really efficient. No one knew that this was coming. Okay.
yeah,
Okay. But
and
but is this
this
a buy or no, not really.
well,
It's like yeah,
I got no
views. Yeah.
evidence to make it a high conviction buy.
Yeah, because it broke the previous lows and
Well,
with momentum.
it did break those previous lows, but it has sort of bounced back to recapture it. But
Mm.
again, like the previous name we looked at
EW, yeah.
on EW and Dexcon, I don't have high conviction
Yeah, yeah.
sort
Understood.
of buy setup, right?
Yeah. Okay. No, that's very, very helpful. INSP, Inspire. This one got killed. Oh yeah, it's yeah, column two. Killed
So
by accident.
this interestingly still has the divergence, and it still has respected
Yeah, and it bounced. Yeah.
the support area at 124, and as you say, it's bounced. So
I should have bought at 124. What the heck was I thinking? It was there for 2 days, right?
right,
Yeah.
yeah, breaking above 147, which is a 50-day, at the very least gets you an upside target back towards 177 or 178.
Yeah, that's very helpful. Okay, then UNHELV. Sorry, I'm just trying to rush through, cover all the ground. Yeah. UNH.
Oh, that's on this list, yeah. That breakout stuck, right?
Yeah.
That's a 680,
Uh
670, 680 upside target.
but
That's your XLV trade, right?
yes, yes. This is the biggest component in the XLV. aside from Lily, and the momentum confirmed it, right? The most
Yep,
recent high, right?
yep.
But now it's testing the high again. Is this setting up a divergence?
Well, if price keeps on rising, no, it won't.
Uh,
So
okay.
again, we don't want to second guess it until we get that
Yeah.
lower
If it
RSI
if it
high.
if it goes lower, then no, but
You get a
it was an RSI, it was a high last night, right? A price high last night.
That's right. So that's why I say you don't want to second guess it because if price keeps on
Ah,
rising
I see.
tonight, the RSI would keep on
Yeah.
rising.
ELV. This one could be the opportunity. Even though I know you will probably say that UNH is better, but wow, look at this.
So obviously
This was
bounced
the
off the 200
opportunity.
day.
Yeah.
The a break above bar 48, far 50 would obviously confirm a breakout and resumption of the uptrend.
So not there yet. Okay. Then let's go to TMO then.
So it does look like we
Oh wow, momentum confirms it.
breaking out.
Hmm.
So the range that you've got there over the past few months,
What?
you know, that can measure up to 683.
Oh, okay. DHR? It's truly shocking. How did I miss the turmoil trade?
Similar here. Momentum's not as strong if I had to try and pick between the two.
Uh,
So you can see,
yeah, it's still a bit lower than the previous.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But again, if you get price still moving higher, that can bring the
Mm,
RSI with it, right?
yeah.
But I mean, I
IQ.
guess
Mm,
both have broken out would be the
yeah.
similarity there.
IQV and then Agilent. Yeah.
So IQV is also trying to break out again. This
Not
is
yet. Yeah.
probably more important from a momentum standpoint to confirm that.
Tonight, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
The next few days. Okay.
So
Got it.
what was the
Agilent. Yeah.
Agilent? Yeah.
Yes.
So here you've got this range, and
Breaking out of it.
you're
Yeah.
breaking out of the range.
Oh, this one could be the
So you get
opportunity.
up,
Yeah, the late
yeah,
one.
you get up to 150. Yeah,
That's very
you
helpful.
close that gap.
Okay. Then just Takeda 4502. So I'll just give you three names in Japan.
There's still range bound here. The 4,400
Ah,
is where the
that's
breakout area is.
that's good to know. Then 4503,
So
Estella.
this is where you have got the breakouts, and you've got the upside target of 1761.
Uh okay. Then 4901, Fujifilm. Yeah, this one is
This
interesting.
one we looked at yesterday. I mean, so no divergence. We obviously had the correction back to this old trading range. So the 200
Mm,
day, the lower boundaries,
they're
this is
really
sort of
safe.
like the Nikkei
Yeah.
or topics, so support at that 3,235 area.
But this thing doesn't follow this. I've noticed last few times it doesn't need a divergence to bounce. That's why I was wanted to check in. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. And then
yeah.
ASI 4523. Good. Thank you. Oh, breakdown.
So this has always been the wild one, but clearly broken down from this range.
Yeah, but does the momentum confirm it? Oh yeah, it's almost there at 100 though. Yeah.
Yeah. It's confirmed it. Yeah, and but it's met the downside target basically.
Oh, it's method. Almost there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. No, this is very helpful. Thank you so much, Lawrence. Yeah, hopefully
no
we'll be
problem.
able to get on
Okay,
your group call soon. Thank you. Take care.
okay.
Okay.
Speak soon. Keep
Bye-bye.
up.